Alright, how's it going? So I have these golf carts that I have to maintain. These are club cars, model year 2014. So they're getting old and they need batteries. They presently have 6 8-volt batteries in it, totaling 48 volts. Well, I just converted this one to 4 12-volt batteries, like club car used to be in the previous generation, but for some reason they changed, but the voltage is still 48 volts, so it doesn't really matter, and it's 48 volts DC. So why would I do this? It's cost savings. I have to keep costs down, and we have to do 18 carts altogether, and there's going to be $180 savings per cart. That totals up to over $3,000 after all the carts are done. So this is the cart I'm going to do it on. It'll be a nice clean job. You can also convert it back to the way it used to be if you want, and nobody would know. So let's get started. Okay, before we get started, the first thing you want to do is protect yourself. Use gloves when you're around sharp things, cutting wheels, whatnot, and of course safety glasses. You don't want to get battery acid or anything else in your eyes. So moving on from there, tools that I used a Sawzall or a reciprocating saw to cut this section off of the battery hold down, plus this rib drop between the battery's rib on the other piece. So that's that. I used this to cut the electrical control panel on the back. This will release my battery hold down, take the battery nuts off, and this actually is the only single nut that holds the electrical control panel. It's a Torx back to the back of the golf cart. Then maybe something to lift the batteries. These are designed to fit right in the loops that are on the batteries we're using. And quickly, why I might be doing this to about 18 carts is at the old batteries with 8 volts, I need 108 batteries at 155.76 equals 16,822.08. If I go to 4 volt, 12 volt batteries, 18 carts, I'll need 72 batteries at 186.97 each, totaling 13,461.84. Quite a bit of savings, like 300 or 3,000 and 3,400, I think. So around there. And I think, did I mention this? Yeah, we did the cutoff wheel. Now this cutoff wheel I put it on a carriage bolt, and I put it in the drill to cut the plastic at the bottom. And again, you hear me say it in the video, but it doesn't turn lightning fast like this, but it could still explode and cause damage. So again, the safety equipment, and that's about all the tools there is to doing this job. So let's get started. Now the only other thing that I'm not going to show you in the video, but you could figure it out yourself, is this the battery hold down axle, or whatever you want to call it, the threaded rod that hooks around the bottom, and it goes to the bottom, hooks in the golf cart, and then the loops are in the way because the batteries are a little tight together, like very close, about the thickness of this. So what I did is I took this, and you simply take this and you turn it quarter of a turn, and that'll put it facing this way. These will go exactly between the batteries, and you're done. Okay, so step one is going to be, first you want to turn off your run and toe switch to put it in the toe position. That cuts the electricity being drawn out of the batteries, and way you don't get a big arc when you're disconnecting. Now the way these work is they're wired in series, so as each battery is connected to the other, it adds that voltage to it. So it goes positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative, and so on around back to your positive cable. So you disconnect positive and your negative, take all your cables off and save them. You're going to reuse the longer ones. Okay, I should have mentioned that this is a club car. I don't have any E-Z-GOs that are old enough to experience needing new batteries, but all our club cars, these are from 2014, and they all have 6 8-volt batteries in them. Now, you can see this is my 12-volt. I'm mocking it up, sticking it in there for now, but it fits perfectly to the floor. And the one that would go over here, that's how they're going to be stacked, 2 and 2. You'll have the center open now, but the only problem is there's two situations on this side. This cover, the electronic wires, the wires are coming out through like a doghouse hole down here. All you got to do with that is there's nothing really behind here. Is take a chunk out. Here's a piece that I'm talking about from the. It's like a tongue that kind of helps hold the bottom stable, but there's another one over that way. So in the middle, so it's not really needed. So you take this chunk out however you want to cut it. So it would go over here, but straight down, obviously. Actually, you can see the round part of the doghouse. So cut that out however you're going to cut it with. I'm going to cut mine with a Sawzall, so do that. You can take all the electronics off the back, take the thing over to a bench, or if you're very careful, you can move the wires over and do the cutting while it's in the golf cart, which is probably what I'm going to do. Next thing you know, next thing you're gonna have to do is cut this chunk off here. It really doesn't do anything either. It's already open. There's spaces open that drop to the earth, so it's not like you're making an access point for more dirt or water. Now, how I do that is with this tool. I just took a cut-off wheel, attached it to a carriage bolt, and there you go. And that'll cut right through that plastic. So now, even though it's traveling not as fast as it would in a cut-off tool, make sure you wear your safety glasses, because it would not be pretty and can really wreck your day if the wheel exploded. And gloves, of course, too, because you know your hands. So we're going to do that now. Okay, I'm right about the Sawzall. I used the regular cut-off wheel, and that piece is now cut off. Here it is right here. Now the next thing is I have to open up this. This is, it may be hard to see, but this part comes up, and your battery won't sit flat to the floor unless you cut it down and back a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'll have the other battery in place so I get an idea how far over I have to go and mark it. And then of course I'll have to come across the floor, and I'm going to cut back this way and take that out of there, and the battery should fit right in. So I'm going to use that tool I told you about with a drill. Okay, and I sped ahead so you didn't have to watch every move, but this is basically the piece of plastic I cut out from the back. So you come down, taking a little bit off the horizontal, back here vertical, and then get that out of the way. And now you can see, as I rotate this battery to this side, it sits right where it's got to go. Alright, I forget to tell you that I took out this little piece that stood back here vertically, and that's going to allow the wires to be over and drop down in its new spot. So now it's time to put your panel back where it belongs. And you can see now that our wires can move over to a new location without being pinched by anything. The battery can now twist around or you can put another one in and fit to the floor, and your wires are over, not underneath the battery. Now just do the same to the floor on the other side, which is easier, and then all your batteries will go in. Then we'll talk about the battery mounts. Alright, now for the battery hold down, I said battery mount a few minutes ago, but I meant hold down. That's where I had to make a change. So the batteries are going to sit a little closer together than perhaps if you've seen on the older ones that have 4 12-volt batteries. They sit more apart. So this is the hold down rod. This is the one that will come out of it, and it passes down this way with the loops facing towards the batteries. Now ours are going to be so close together, you can see that it's not going to pass down there. So what I did is I simply took this, put it in a vise, and twisted here. You see the difference? Now the other modification I had to make was on the top pressure point hold down. So two things. Again, the distance, and we don't need this piece here. Okay, so we're just going to use this. Actually like this, I think. So right here is the difference I made. Cut off this piece here, right about there where the saw is off. Then flip it over and cut that whole raised section off. So, and then you mount it in. So we'll mount up the batteries and wire it up and show you how it looks. Okay, now do the same to the other side, and then we'll wire it up. Okay, just keep in mind that the polarity of your batteries, that you want to go negative to positive in each battery, just the way it was with the 8-volt batteries. It goes in a circle, and in this case all the terminals should be to the front and back respectively. Because if you hook it up the other way, you could be in for a little surprise. that's it. You can see all the open space in there, and it looks very neat, professional, like it rolled out of the factory like that. Batteries are tight to the floor, wires are clear, and this job is completely reversible if you'd like to go back to the 8-volt batteries and have 6 of them for any reason.